Daniel was 36 years old and had spent the last 10 years working at a nonprofit that helps street children. He was kind, committed, and dependable. Whenever there was hard work to be done, Daniel was the first to show up and the last to leave. But despite all his efforts, he was never chosen to lead. Time after time, others were promoted. Others were handed the mic. Others led the meetings. He stayed in the background, quietly watching. One evening, after another long day, Daniel sat alone on the office balcony as the sun dipped behind the hills. The ache in his chest was not just from exhaustion, it was from being overlooked again. His friend and mentor, Mrs. Laura, the elderly founder of the organization, came out and sat beside him. She had been watching Daniel for years. "You know, Daniel," she said gently, "you carry the heart of a leader, but your voice hides behind your humility." Daniel sighed. "I don't know how to talk like them. I don't have the strong voice, the charisma. I just do the work." Mrs. Laura placed her wrinkled hand on his. "Leadership isn't about volume. It's about value. It's not about being heard by many. It's about saying something that matters to even just one." Daniel looked at her, eyes wide. "But how do I begin?" She leaned in and whispered, "Speak from the place that hurts. Speak from where you've been. That's where the real leader lives, not in the ego, but in the experience." That night, Daniel didn't sleep much. He thought about growing up fatherless. He remembered the nights he slept on the street, eating from trash bins. He thought about how a stranger once spoke to him not with pity, but with hope. Just one sentence changed his life. "You are not what the world says you are. You're more." He had never forgotten that voice. 2 weeks later, at a staff retreat, the team asked if someone could share a story about what brought them to the organization. No one raised their hand. Then slowly trembling, Daniel stood. He spoke softly at first, but as he spoke, something shifted. He didn't speak to impress. He spoke to connect. He shared his pain, his journey, his failures, and how every child he helped reminded him of himself. The room was silent. Some cried. When he finished, no one clapped. Not because it wasn't good, but because the moment was sacred. Then someone stood and said, "Daniel, that's the voice we've been waiting for. That's leadership." From the day on, Daniel was different, not louder but stronger. He didn't try to sound like anyone else. He spoke slowly, purposefully, from the heart, and people followed not because he was the loudest, but because he was real. Leadership begins the moment you stop trying to sound perfect and start speaking from who you truly are. You don't have to shout to lead. You don't need to dominate to inspire. You just need to be honest, intentional, and true, because the most powerful voice is the one that rises from silence shaped by pain and speaks with purpose, love, and courage.